Chapter 516, Xuanwu Sutra. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Huang Yanchen stared at that bone book and said, "That's the Xuanwu Sutra. Although it's an incomplete copy, it's a priceless treasure. As long as you bring it to an auction, there will be many saints and powerful families battling for it." Zhang Yuochen grabbed the Xuanwu Sutra from Blackie's paws and leafed through it in his hands. As expected, it was only a fragment of the book. Zhang Yuochen closed the bone book, raised his head and said, "Legend says that in ancient times, Xuanwu clan's practical skills were passed down by blood meridians. By using the powers of the blood meridian, the exercises will appear in the minds of the Xuanwu descendants." The deceased sage of the human tribe named the exercises, Xuanwu Rerol. It is known to be a rare book at God's stage. Only the pure-blood Xuanwu descendants know about these practices. Later, the human tribe gradually flourished in the Great Wasteland, establishing a civilization. Some members of the Xuanwu clan converted into human beings and intermarried with humans. Their offspring had both the blood meridian of Xuanwu and humans, so they were known as the Xuanwu half-human clan. Hence, the superiors of the Xuanwu clan created a cultivation method that is suitable for the Xuanwu half-human clan. They based it on the Xuanwu Rerol, and called it the Xuanwu Sutra. The Xuanwu Sutra is not only suitable for the Xuanwu half-human clan but also for human beings. The practice mainly belonged to the king's mid-class. Unfortunately, the ancient mythical beasts suffered a catastrophe. Almost all of Xuanwu, rocks, peacocks, divine dragon, Qilin, disappeared in the Kunlun's field. Although some mythical beast descendants survived, their blood meridians were not pure. These survivors were incomparable to the pure-blood ancient mythical beasts. How is it possible that the Xuanwu half-human clan were able to guard the Xuanwu Sutra without protection from the mystical beast clan? During the looting and killing of human beings, the Xuanwu half-human clan suffered from many catastrophes. The fact that they can preserve 1/5 of the book is already remarkable. Initially, the peacock canon that Zhang Yuochen passed down to Kong Xuan was also only 1/10 of the original volume. Huang Yanchen said, "Even if it's just 1/5 of the whole volume, it is still exceptional. It is even comparable to a complete book on practicing skills of inferior class king's stage. As far as I know, even for the saints in the Saint Academy, many are only practicing exercises of mid-class ghost level or superior class ghost level. Only geniuses have a chance with the exercises of inferior class king's stage. Most of the fish dragon realm monks from small families and small suzerains can only practice exercises of spiritual stage and inferior class ghost level. If they want to practice martial techniques of mid-class ghost level, they must join the half-saint family and saint gentries, to become servants and family generals. The Yuntai suzerain of Omen Ridge is a 4-class suzerain that possesses a few half-saints. Its most powerful exercise book is the Holy Universe Reaching of inferior class ghost level, and they only have one book. The Holy Universe Reaching has been the sect treasure of Yuntai suzerain, and the only one that is capable of practicing the exercises is the next master. The general fish dragon realm monks can merely practice exercises of spiritual stage. Zhang Yuochen nodded and said, "Right. Once an exercise book of king's stage is spread, even if it's just a book of inferior class king's stage, it will cause a great uproar." Although the Xuanwu Sutra is an incomplete volume, it's still a remarkable treasure. Zhang Yuochen asked, "Senior sister apprentice Yanchen, are you practicing exercises of superior class ghost level?" Huang Yanchen was not shocked when Zhang Yuochen was able to see through her exercises level because she knew that he had strong spiritual powers. She nodded and said, "I'm practicing the storm tactics of superior class ghost level. My mother, who is a queen, passed it down to me and I've practiced it to the 5th level. According to my mother, if I continue to practice it to the 10th level, I can break through the half-saint realm." Zhang Yuochen frowned slightly, puzzled. He asked Huang Yanchen, "As far as I know, your mother was once the top genius of the Chuns. Why was she only practicing exercises of superior class ghost level?" Huang Yanchen's mother was called Chen Liulai, now known as the half-saint Liulai. When she was young, she entered top 50 on the heaven board. the exercises of the king's stage were unattainable for ordinary warriors. However, the Juns was an affluent family, so they must have 1 or 2 volumes of exercises of king's stage. Chen Liulai was a notable talent. At a young age, she was able to enter the half-saint realm, and perhaps she was even vying to step into sacred realm. It would not be an impossibility for her to attain the exercises of king's stage. Huang Yanchen sighed and shook her head with a forced smile. She said with helplessness, "You don't understand that a woman is ultimately inferior to a man in a great family like the Juns. Unless she is talented enough to enter the top 10 on the heaven board, a woman can't practice exercises of king's stage. It is impossible for the Juns to spread the exercises of king's stage easily, especially because it is the foundation for the Juns' prosperity." A ghost-level exercise book was able to attract many geniuses to the Juns. What more a king's stage exercise book? On top of that, even for males of the East region St. Prince's Mansion, only the top 5 of each generation can practice the exercises of king's stage. After thinking for a moment, Zhang Yuochen handed the bone book, which recorded the Xuanwu Sutra, to Huang Yanchen, and said, "After you break through the fish-dragon realm, you can practice other exercises. By then, you can practice the Xuanwu Sutra. Although it's incomplete, it's a dozen times better than the storm tactics you're practicing now." The storm tactics was an exercise book of superior class ghost level. As long as you've tried your best to practice, you might have the opportunity to reach the sacred realm. However, how could the storm tactics compare to the Xuanwu Sutra? How is it possible that Huang Yanchen was uninterested in a remnant volume of an exercise book of mid-class king's stage? There were at least 3 significant advantages in practicing exercises of king's stage. Firstly, due to the profound exercises, a monk would be able to practice several times or a dozen times faster, compared to other low-level exercises. Secondly, a monk who practiced exercises of king's stage would be more superior than those warriors who practiced exercises of ghost level in the same realm. Thirdly, those who practiced high-level exercises could easily exchange the law of heaven and earth and quickly comprehend the holy road. In short, they would have a higher chance to be a saint than others. Huang Yanchen was still a little hesitant. She licked her lips and said, "It's too valuable. After all, the Xuanwu Sutra is your prize for killing Yellow God Emissary. It even represents the heritage of Xuanwu." Before Huang Yanchen could finish talking, Zhang Yuochen placed the bone book containing the Xuanwu Sutra in her hands, and said, "It's only an incomplete exercise book, not the legendary Xuanwu Tantra. Please accept it. If I want to perceive it in the future, I can borrow it from you. Since you insist on giving it to me, I won't refuse your kindness." Huang Yanchen finally stopped turning him down and put the bone book away. She placed it carefully into the spatial ring as if she was setting a treasure. Even great figures like her Queen Mother and King Father, the colored glaze half-cent and the Cayenne's Yui Commandery Prince had no access to exercises of king's stage. Yet she was able to get a volume. Huang Yanchen was extremely happy, and she had a smile on her cold face. Zhang Yuochen looked at the smile on her exquisitely gorgeous face. It was as if a spring breeze blew from the lake and blew away the coldness of winter, giving people a warm feeling. He could not help saying, "Senior sister apprentice, you should smile more. You look very charming when you smile." Huang Yanchen immediately stopped smiling and turned cold again. With her long eyelashes upturned, she asked, "Are you flirting with me?" Blackie interrupted, "That was just a compliment, he wasn't flirting." Zhang Yuochen faintly smiled. He didn't know if he was flirting with her or praising her. All he knew was that he simply said something sincerely. Huang Yanchen was actually elated to hear that but didn't want to be obvious with her emotions. How could a fiancé's words be considered as flirting? Even if he was really flirting, it was a sweet and romantic gesture. If Zhang Yuochen said a few more words, whether a compliment or a flirt, she would probably smile more and have less of a poker face on. She might even plunge into his arms and turn into a little girl. Sadly, Zhang Yuochen didn't say anything else. Instead, he turned serious and said, "Huang Shenyi practiced the fragmented version of the Xuanwu Sutra. I suspect he hadn't gotten the original copy of the ancient Xuanwu." "I think so too." Blackie also nodded and said, The pure-blood Xuanwu has long been extinct. The book that Huang Sheni had gotten must have come from a Xuanwu offspring. Zhang Yuochen said, those who are capable of practicing Xuanwu Qi must be a Xuanwu offspring of the sacred level, rather than the ordinary ones. Blackie said, among the Xuanwu offsprings, the three strongest races are the ice-water Xuanwu, the green fire tortoise, and the nine-headed Xuanwu. According to the aura of that bone book, I'm sure that Huang Sheni inherited it from an 8th level Cyan fire Xuanwu. Huang Yanqian was somewhat taken aback and said, in terms of strength, an 8th level savage beast has already surpassed scents of humans, and also surpassed an 8th level green fire tortoise, which is even more terrifying. The place is only a medium-level primitive world. How did it produce such an amazing creature? Zhang Yuochen solemnly said. The primitive world of Xuanwu has always been one of the top medium-level primitive worlds. It is to be expected that they can produce an 8th level savage beast. Blackie smiled and said, Zhang Yuochen, what are you going to do next? Zhang Yuochen said, I just felt a special aura from the bone book with my spiritual power. I can depend on this aura to reach the primitive world of Xuanwu. From there, it won't be difficult to find Xuanwu heritage place.